Today is National Stress Awareness Day, and Matthew Brownell is here from Stress Solutions, based here in the city centre. Matthew, thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
And we've got someone laid out for you.
That's right.
To give us some physical solutions on how to deal with stress. And that certain lady
I'm ever so stressed.
is the wound-up Nina Warhurst.
Hi, Matthew.
Hello.
How do we get Nina to relax on this Tuesday morning?
Well, first of all, what we...
Wednesday. Crikey, I'm a day behind. Sorry. Thanks.
What stress does to the body, it pulls it into all sorts of positions, because when we're uptight, the muscles go tight and they can pull into joints. So we need to get the body in a line first, and then we can work on, as well as the physical stress being released, and realign the emotional stress. This also could be part of the problem.
So how do you do this, Matthew?
Well, first, I'll just show, because most people have a misalignment, and if you can just lie with your head flat down, Nina... And
with
then
my face down?
That's great, yes.
A misalignment with their body in general, with their feet, their legs?
I mean, if you're uptight, sometimes your stomach feels a bit, you know, sort of tight, you don't eat as well. Some people have symptoms like irritable bowel and things like that, and they might get headaches, all these sorts of things, and these are just from misalignments in the body. So if I bring Nina's heels together, there's only ever so slightly, but if the camera can maybe look at, there's a slight difference in a leg length here, for instance.
Right. So Nina's got one leg longer than the other?
Yes, that's right.
Is she going to need some of those big medicated shoes?
No, there's some very simple techniques that we can do. Normally, if the pelvis is out, I'll better stand this side. If the pelvis is out, of course, that has a knock-on effect up into the neck and other areas. So if I press a point here, this might be a little bit tender for Nina.
How does that feel, Nina?
Yeah, it does feel tender.
But if you compare that to this side...
Yeah, why is that?
Different, you see, because the tension is more so on one side. So what I do is, I'm just going to put a couple of points in.
Oh, my God. Ah!
Is that good or bad?
Oh, my God! It's just really tender, but so much more so on that side.
Just bear with me for 1 second, and I'll put this one in, because this is an important one. This is the actual problem in the muscle. So, again, the stress hormone is making the tissues go tight.
Right.
So they're pulling...
Hence why one limb's slightly shorter than the other, because it's contracting.
So just from pressing a couple of points...
But why does it happen specifically to one side? Is it just the way...?
It's normally because of posture. Sometimes we cross our legs, so when we're uptight, when you're also crossing your legs, it pulls into the tight muscles, and that also takes you out of the line.
Defensive people get like that, don't they?
And we don't realise when we're stressed, our breathing changes, so... You like this?
Yes, we were talking about that with Kobe before. It becomes a lot shallower.
That's correct.
So would breathing help realign yourself as well? Kind of get the muscles relaxed?
If you go onto your back, turn over onto your back, and if a good way to breathe is like a baby. If you ever notice the way a baby breathes, you breathe from the stomach, and this gets full breathing going. So as you breathe in, let your stomach go out. Don't breathe from your chest, because, again, this takes everything up here.
OK.
So as you breathe in, your stomach goes up. And as you breathe out, the stomach goes down. That's it, and at your own pace.
It feels really unnatural.
Yes, it does at first, but once you get used to it, it's very relaxing. Now, because your pelvis is out, nearly always...
lightheaded.
Nearly always, the neck's out. So if I press a point here, you can feel it's a little bit tender.
Yes,
at that point there. I'll just compare that to this side. It's not, it should be different on the left.
Yeah, it is.
So if I just put my hands here, just very gently...
These pressure points, Matthew, this is where the nerve endings in your body meet? Certain
this
points,
system here, what I'm using, is called cranial sacral therapy, and I'm working with something called the cranial rhythm of the body.
Right.
Now, that rhythm has a motion. It rotates the body in 12 times and out 12 times a minute. And sometimes there's blockages in the cranial rhythm, so what I'm doing is releasing the blockages. What kind of blockages? That tension you were talking about, That's correct, but it's on a tissue called the fascia. It's like a thin envelope that's wrapped around the whole of the body.
Right.
So
it's a physical blockage,
that's correct,
literal.
But it's coming from the stress, because as we get uptight, so for instance, this area in your body may be a little bit congested, and that's pulling up to the neck. If I just put my hand here, this releases the congestion.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you're administering these techniques, Matthew, but are there things that people can do at home to help, like preventative measures?
Yes, there's a very good technique to help any sort of stress scenario. So if you have problems, I don't know, it might be work-related problems, family problems, I don't know. There's a very good technique called EFT, which means Emotional Freedom Technique. And if you just sit up, Nina, we'll do this on you. So if you choose a scenario that would normally stress you out, so I'll say live television.
Okay, yeah.
And if you choose something, it's normally quite...
Live television.
Yeah, OK. So if you press this point here, just tap, and say after me, even though I have these feelings about being on live television...
Even though I have these feelings about being on live television...
I'm OK.
I'm OK.
And I deeply and truly...
And I deeply and truly...
Forgive and accept myself.
Forgive and accept myself for sickness and in health. For death. Sorry.
And then just press this point here.
Yeah.
OK, even though I have these feelings about being on live television...
Even though I have these feelings about being on live television...
I'm OK.
I'm OK.
And I deeply and truly...
And I deeply and truly forgive myself.
Yeah, forgive and accept myself.
Forgive and accept myself.
I'm OK. And then one more. We can just do 3, and this starts to calm the body down, because it's also working on the meridians, but we're talking to your subconscious.
The meridians?
The meridians are energy pathways in the body.
Right.
So when they get a little bit blocked, it can have a knock-on effect to the next more denser body, which is the emotional body, which then has a knock-on effect to the physical body.
Is half of the battle, like they say with a lot of problems, accepting that you are stressed, and by stopping and doing this, you're acknowledging that you're getting a little bit out of control? Is that half of getting over the stress?
It's surprising what people come in with their ailments and what they put up with, so yes, that's correct. I mean, people live with things and just don't realise what it's down to. You know, they might come in with repetitive strain syndrome, but not know that it's from stress from something at home. It has a knock-on effect into the body and then into the neck, into the arm.
So would you encourage people to assess how stressed they are quite regularly?
That would be a good idea.
So instead of getting wound up about being stressed, accept that the fact you are going to get stressed and deal with it and just kind of relax and go on.
Byron.
Yes.
Forgive myself and go on.
It's OK.
Matthew,
that
thank you
works
very much
amazingly well.
for joining us
That's
this morning.
absolutely brilliant, and I do
Good,
feel
thank
really
you.
chill.